Hello and welcome back to another episode of Hitting the Bars. My name is Sav. You can call me Savvy Wavy One. And we've got the lovely co-host Keltie O'Connor. How are you, Keltie?
Good. I was listening to a podcast recently, and the other podcast always introduces herself. And then she was told, that's Chugi, to introduce herself. So is it Chugi that we introduce ourselves? Because she almost
Chugi means millennial, right?
Yeah. But
I think Google it.
Millennial Pinterest 2012 era. But it was very much like Joe Rogan's not coming on here and be like, hey guys, it's Joe. It's like, duh, it's Joe. So it's almost like we shouldn't have to introduce ourselves. Just kidding.
Okay. Is this a way of Keltie telling me not to introduce myself on the air? Okay.
I just thought about that because we were going, and I introduced myself every YouTube video, and then someone pointed that out in the podcast I was listening to. I think it was Kelsey Kreppel, and I was like, wow. True. I know it's Kelsey Kreppel, but then you might be new here, and if you are, I'm Keltie, and that's Sav.
Yeah, there you go. Sheesh. Okay, well, I guess have a debate. We'll post an Instagram photo, and I want to know, do you like us introducing ourselves, or are you Keltie and think we should just be presumptuous and assume they know who their hosts are?
Of course, duh. Just kidding. My alter cocky ego.
Yeah. For real, you are basically Cynthia. Jeesh.
I know. What can I say? I went to your bachelorette party in Nashville, and I came back a different person. I'm changed.
You're changed. You hung out with the Americans, and you're no longer the sweet Canadian.
Nope. I'm cocky, proud. It's my world, and you're all living in it now.
Clearly. Speaking of the bachelorette party, it's now been about 2 weeks.
Oh my God,
since it's crazy. It was a blast. I guess we could do a quick little recap here. Should I start since it was my bachelorette, or do you want to start from the bird's eye view?
I'm gonna interview you, and then I'll pop in with my own behind the scenes. You know what? It was your weekend, so we should live it through your eyes. Because at the end of the day, if I had a miserable time, it doesn't matter. The bride needs to have the best time of her life, and I witnessed you having the best time. So tell me, I wasn't there for Thursday. How did it happen? You arrived, welcome night, day, whatever, and how was it?
Yeah, well, my maids of honors, my close sister Kelsey, and my best friend from college, Jordan, they flew with me. What day was it? Tuesday? So we had an early day there. It was Wednesday, yeah. And I wanted to spend time with them, and they had never met, and I just wanted them to get to know each other a bit more, and we were like, let's go, calm before the storm. And it was really fun. Jordan is a recruiter, so she actually had to work in the morning, so I got sister time with Kelsey, which was really nice. We went shopping because Nashville has just beautiful, quaint boutiques. Could not find anything for the life of us that would fit us well. I know. We were we're going to get a cute outfit for tonight. Could not. Did not. We tried. We went to so many. But it was really fun. The night got wild. We can talk about it later. But we were we're going to have a, nice little dinner. It was actually brunch that we were doing. And then we were going to get our ears pierced, and we were going to have an early night in. Well, that's not what happened. And then Thursday came around, everyone arrived. It was so fun. We got to the Airbnb. Nashville has fantastic Airbnbs for a fantastic price. And it slept everybody comfortably.
Yeah.
Keltie had her own room in a king size bed. It was perfect. Very luxurious.
My mind is blown because I was the second last person to arrive. And so I accepted I was sleeping on the couch. I was like, you know what? That's just the rules. It's kind of every bachelor party. Throw all these people into a house, and you run in and Love Island style, grab the first bed you can. And I was just like, you know what? If I get the couch, so be it. If I'm in bed with 5 girls, so be it. And I come in and never met your friends. We gave you the one bedroom to a king size bed to myself. I was like, this is royalty I never knew I needed.
It was so interesting because you literally knew nobody. You knew Maddie. You met Maddie one time when we first ever met. And we had 10 girls there. And I felt like everyone got along so well. It was something I'm very proud about. That how your friends are a direct representation of who you are. And I was proud that everybody was just got along. There's no drama with it. Like, everyone was so kind to each other. Like, we just had such a good time as a group. And I knew that would happen because everyone's such a chill in general. So everybody got their Thursday. We played fun games where, like, Keltie planned the whole thing where she basically made Michael answer questions. I loved that. Like, so it'd be like, what's Sav's favorite food? And everyone would guess. And then she'd play Michael's answer, and I'd, like, have to guess for Michael as well. And we'd see what we got right. So it was funny because there was, like, little niche things that only him and I knew that weirdly they were like, how would he have pulled that out of his ass? And I'm like, somehow he knew. And we played a lingerie game, which was really fun, where everybody gifts lingerie and you have to guess. So that was a blast. And then, Friday, we did the Honky Tonk Express, and we requested Austin. I think his last name was Ryder. And he was such a cool guy. He loved to dance. He was a wild man. I mean, the Honky Tonk, for people that don't know, it's like this bus essentially that takes you around for 2 hours. You play whatever music you want. You're allowed to drink on it. He was the bartender, so it's safe. It's caged in. No one's falling out. That was so much fun. Here's some tea for you. I was talking, who was I talking to recently? That was like, I think it was Maddie and Megan. I was at the airport with them, and they were like, did you know that Austin was vomiting that day? Like, apparently when we had a bathroom break, he, like, pulled over to the side. He got sick, like, when we were going to the bathroom. So he must have been hungover or something like that. I mean, why else are you? Maybe you're car sick. I don't know. Yeah. But to have a job like that where everyone's drinking, you're the bartender, and he's, like, dancing better than any of us. He's having dance battles. He's, like, filming us. He got a brand new iPhone to film. Like, that was such a cool experience, and I'm so glad. 10 out of 10 recommend him. I just thought it was funny. That was like, oh, you must have had a rough night the night before.
Like, here's a little insider tea. Anyone who works in the bar industry, there's usually, like, industry nights. Because think, like, bartenders, obviously they tend to like to party or drink. You're in that atmosphere, but you're working Friday, Saturday, sometimes Sunday. But usually, like, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday are what's called, like, industry night. And every city it's different. But, like, very well Nashville could be, like, Thursday night, industry night. And, like, he obviously is in that scene if he's, like, bartender down. So that's, like, very likely his night out is Thursday with his friends, and then he's working Friday, Saturday. So, like, the likelihood of a bartender, like, hungover on a day that you wouldn't be as hungover, like obviously a lot of people go out on Thursdays, but, like, I'm like, yeah, no, 100%. He was just out on, like, industry night, and it was his time, and now he's, like, at work hungover. Just like us on, like, Sundays and Mondays. That's bartenders are just hungover on, like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Fridays. So that's what I would 100% put money.
Could you imagine being hungover and having to, like, be on a moving bus all day in the heat, pouring these girls drinks and having to DJ, and he was, like, dancing, like, with us, like, just having fun to Shania Twain? It would be my nightmare. Like, I could never, but props to people that can.
Exactly. So, of course, he's going to be hungover. Also, I have to rewind a little bit to Thursday night, and something I did like when the lingerie party. So we've rushed over that a little bit, but pretty much, you give a lingerie item, have an unboxing, guess who it was. I think I was the most guessed person. Like, I loved it. Like, every second I was like, Keltie? I'm like, and mine was like the very last one you opened, but I was very flattered that you're like, oh, I could see Keltie giving this and this and this. I was like, I liked it.
It's so hard to tell the difference. Like, you know, usually there's like, which you did actually put like a little note in it. So yours did come with a note.
Mine, and then of course I was so confused, or I didn't know what to do, because at the start people were like, oh, don't read the card because like it will give it away or whatever. But then I thought you put in the card and then just don't say who it's from. But then I couldn't put my hand up in that moment and be like, no, you have to read the card, because then it would be so obvious which one was mine. But I had to sit there, and so mine made no sense without the reference. So I had to just wait till the after, and then I was like, hey, let me explain it.
This is very, thought out. I loved it. The entire bachelorette party, for those that didn't see on my story, was Taylor Swift themed. It was beautiful. There was so many quotes from Taylor Swift. I had a life-size cutout. I literally shipped her home with me. She's going to be in my office. Keltie hated her outfit.
I did.
Was it you that said you hated her outfit in the photo?
No, what had happened was there was this one photo that they took, and I just glanced at it quickly, and I thought it was you wearing this outfit. And it was just like, just imagine you're lounging out at home and like it's like a big poofy like flapper dress that you'd wear out to like a fancy event. And I'm like, Sal's really just like wearing this as comfort? Like I was so just utterly confused. And I was just like, and it was I was like, oh, that would have been cute like 5-10 years ago. Like, yeah, and the outfit was just very like outdated. But now I knew it was like an older picture of Taylor Swift. So, like that's what I was just like, imagine I was like, Sal's wearing some 10-year-old like out of style poofy dress on a Thursday. I was like, really? But yeah, it turned out it was just the cutout. But you should be flattered that I thought Taylor Swift was you.
I am
really
flattered.
It was the highest of compliments.
Yeah. And I just thought it was so funny that so many people, like Jordan for her bachelorette party wants a cutout of Justin Bieber. Like that's her celebrity crush. Mine is Taylor Swift. Like no, I don't think everyone would be like, oh, Vampire Diaries, Zac Efron. I was like, Taylor Swift. That's what I want. But your lingerie was Taylor Swift's outfit from Victoria's Secret's fashion show. So I thought that was really cool.
I was like, how can I make it like Taylor Swift? But then Taylor Swift doesn't really wear like sexy lingerie very often, except now she does.
No.
Like one.
Yeah.
And
now I know.
Now she does. But then I was like, but didn't she sing? And then my like little light bulb was like, doesn't she sing at the Victoria's Secret fashion show? So I did a little research. And yeah, so found the closest thing so you can channel some pretend you're Taylor Swift in like 1989 music video. And
I love
you're welcome, Michael.
Some nice role play.
The most like wholesome.
Oh God, she wants to be Taylor Swift again. No, there were some funny ones. Like Millie did a maid's outfit, which I thought was hilarious. Like a sexy maid outfit. Yeah, that one. I'm very excited for that one.
Halloween costume, honestly. Sorry, Michael, but that one, Halloween costume.
Everyone was making fun of me being like, I would legit wear this lingerie outfit to a nice restaurant. Like, do you remember hearing that? Everyone was like, God, Savannah, like, because I like corset tops. I like sexy tops. I have fake boobs for a reason. Like, I want to be able to wear, right? So it's just funny because I think a lot of them, like, probably wouldn't, you know, like, choose that outfit. And I'm like, oh, I would wear this in a heartbeat to dinner. Like, the cute, like, of course, they're not see-through. They're all, like, pretty corset-y tops that you could, like, easily wear as, like, a one-piece, you know, and just wear jeans or something. Like, YOLO. Come on. Let's live our lives. We're young. We're young. Right? We're hot.
And that look is in. And, it, like, one of my favorite looks right now is the, like, lacy bralette. Like, you're just wearing that as a top. And I'm like, how's that any different than, like, a lingerie covers up more than that? And, like, see what I mean? It's the exact same mentality. Like, I'm a bralette girl. You're, like, a corset girl. And, like, they're still both lingerie at the end of the day. It's a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock it. I mean, we're young. Why not?
We survived the pandemic. Wear whatever you want.
Wear whatever, though. If you want to wear underwear to a restaurant, wear underwear. Dude, one time I have a story for you. There's this restaurant that's, like, on the beach. And I purposefully was wearing this one skirt and I had a top on and I didn't love the top. So I was like, oh, I have this bathing suit top that go really well with it. No one's going to notice. It's dark. No one can see it's a bathing suit top. Well, I got there and they were like, you're wearing a bathing suit top. You're not allowed in. This is an outdoor on the beach restaurant, okay? It makes sense for me to even wear a bathing suit top. Yeah. And I was like, and I'm like, double down on it. I'm like, this isn't a bathing suit top. I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, I can literally see the fabric. And I was like, nope. I've worn this here before. Like, I was like, swear. I was like, please just let me be inside this restaurant or outside this restaurant. And it was so funny because she finally agreed to do it. And she was like, you have to wear a shawl. So I legit wore a blanket at dinner to cover my not even revealing bathing suit. It's not like it was a tiny triangle bikini. It was a very normal top. So that's my story on bathing suit tops. And I don't even know how I got on that.
Lingerie, bachelor, then lingerie, bathing suits. It made sense. It was the same. Natural progression.
You should be allowed to wear whatever you want, you know? As long as you're not showing, like, nipples or something. But then again, a lot of girls just show them see-through. So my body, my choice. My outfit choice.
Free the note. Anyways, what's the difference between a, like, crop top and a bikini top? You know what I mean? Like, does the material 100%. Really matter that much? Like, one's a bit more waterproof, and that might be, maybe I'm just a sweaty person. Maybe that's why. Are you, like, discriminating against my underarm sweat? That's what I do.
I was like, I really don't think you're allowed to tell me I can't wear a bathing suit top right now. Because I was like, and literally a girl walked by, and she's in a bralette, and I was like, do you see? She's literally wearing just as much clothes as I am. Yeah. And they were like, it's the fabric, ma'am. I'm like, what? So, yeah. I was still very nice about it. I wore my blanket while I ate, but it just was truly crazy that even happened.
And even if you're like, hey, we're really like conservative, high-end place, like everyone has to wear button up in business, I'm like, okay, that's fair. But then if it's like crop tops are allowed, bikini tops should be allowed. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree. Where did we leave off?
Thursday,
honky tonk. Then we went out to dinner, and we went out on the town to a club. And then I was a little like, okay, let's go home now. And then rolls up to Saturday.
Yeah.
I feel like we were all a little hungover.
Uh-huh. I think before we go to Saturday, I was like, we should maybe tell people what the party vibe is in Nashville. Because some of you might have been in Nashville. I feel like, at least for me, and especially like in Canada, a lot of people like know Vegas. Like everyone goes to Vegas. Nashville's kind of the new it spot, especially for bachelorette parties. So like explain a little bit of like the party mentality out in Nashville, especially like compare it to maybe a Vegas. It's very traditional and people kind of know what to expect.
I don't even know. I mean, I feel like you do the dinner drinks before, and then you go out on that main strip downtown, Broadway. Yeah. And there's live music. There's a lot of waits to get into these bars depending on the time. So luckily we got into one. I think was it Luke Bryan's bar?
I think we did Jason. No, did we do Jason Aldean the second day? Or was it Jason Aldean we went to? No, it was Luke Bryan. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Luke Bryan because we went Thursday. Sorry, we went Wednesday for live music when it was just Jordan, Keltie, and I really enjoyed it. So we were like, let's go back. And then I think all the girls had wanted to like dance. So you go up all these flights, and then there's like clubs on each floor. So, which to me, I find a little silly looking back at it, because you're literally where the most beautiful, authentic, amazing live music is. And you go to a club to not even hear the music, you know? And it was still really fun, you know? It was hilarious because everyone's like taking shots, people are buying you drinks, of course, because it's like, you know, you're the bachelorette crew. But I just look back at it and I'm like, I'm glad the next day we went and watched live music, because that's definitely more my thing. I'm not really a big club person, and I think I get overstimulated. But it cracks me up because it's such a popular place. Like all the young people are down in the clubs, and it's like, guys, this is literally where people are trying to make it. Like, the beautiful voices are here, and we're not even hearing them play.
But then I think that's actually the beauty of it, and which I was like, I think this is so fun, versus like, for example, when you go to Vegas, you're in a nightclub, you're stuck in that nightclub. It's massive, like you are where it's meant to be. But then like, or you can go, and there's obviously a lot more. But the nice thing about these bars is like, we didn't really do this, and I think had we all known, like I didn't even know what to expect, but like looking back at it, is like you could spend your whole night in that one bar. Because the bottom was live music. The second floor was like nightclub, think like DJ, and the top floor was like open patio bar, very like mingling bar. So say you're like, oh, I want to go meet some people. Let's go have some drinks. What do you want to do? We're not fully buzzed. Let's go down. Let's watch live music when we're getting our buzz on. And then when everyone gets too drunk and needs to burn it off, put them in the dance floor for a little bit. And I feel like that would be like a fun way. Like we kind of went it chaotically because we kept just being like, wait, there's this room. And I think we were like, but looking back, like most of the bars, the big ones I found in Nashville, were like multi-floored. And I think it's actually the best thing, because then like exactly everyone gets their hour. The live music people, the mingling people, the dancers, and like you kind of get it all in one spot. And then you can like hop down to down. Like it's very college vibes. Like it gives me, if like college meant Vegas, like it's kind of laid back. You can dress to the nines, like we were all sequenced out, or you can dress in denim, and people are like friendly. I like Vegas is one of my favorite places on earth, but I won't lie, it's like people trying to like show off. It's a lot of like that mentality. It's like who buys the bigger bottle of Azul and Dom Perignon, and like who's getting the bottle service table, and who has the Chanel purse. And it's very like that kind of vibe. Like look at my Rolex. And there was like none of that, but the same level of like, we are here to party. And like it was like, but at the same time, like you said, it was also like really cool culturally, that they said just, you know, so many artists made it there in that very bar. Or on the flip side, like you said, you could watch someone and like that's the next Casey Musgraves. Musgrave? How do you say your last name?
Musgraves.
Musgraves.
That's my.
It's like same kind of. So I was like, that's why it's like it's kind of the best of all worlds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I agree. That's what I love about Nashville. The only thing though, I do think Nashville has changed I basically went right before COVID with my mom for her birthday, and I loved it because there was no lines. It was very chill, constant live music. It just was a different vibe than when we went for the bachelorette party, in the sense of like it is getting very saturated. Nothing wrong with that, right? Because I'm like part of the person that's like, I want to go. Like there's 10 brides in the area, right? Like, but I just noticed it is so packed now. Like one of the nights when we walked out in Broadway, and it's just like flooded. Like literally cars can't even get down there. Yeah. Where when I went with my mom years ago, that was not a thing, and I went on the weekend with her. It was very like no one had really figured out downtown Nashville or that area yet. So I always loved that memory, but I just, when I went outside, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people here.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like,
yeah.
Props to people that live in Nashville and deal with the tourism, you know?
Because, yeah, I'm used to, like, when I've gone out to, like, party cities, like Vegas and Toronto and all that are naturally like that. So for me, it's like, of course, it's a party city. But it's just interesting knowing a couple of years ago, like, it was a bit more, like, hidden gem for partying. And I think, I bet you back then it was a lot more, like, locals and that. But now it's, like, people up from Vancouver are down there partying kind of idea.
But 10 out of 10 recommend it for a fun trip in general, especially if you love country music. I thought it was so funny. Millie does not listen to country music at all. And it was hilarious because I'd look over and there's just blank state in her eyes. And she'd be like, Sap, how do you all know these songs? And I'm like, I don't know. We were born and raised on like these kinds of songs. Yeah. Being from Washington, like I grew up near Spokane, Washington. So it's very like country area where my family, you know, that's just what we listened to growing up. So I just thought it was funny because I love that everyone still came and she still loved it. She just was like, I've literally never heard any of these songs. And it cracked me up. And I'm like, oh yeah, this probably wouldn't be for her bachelorette party because she just had a blank stare the entire time being like, what the heck?
Props for her for still partying along, even though I had no idea what's the songs. Actually, though, it's funny you say this because I'm going to unlock a core memory, I think, that a lot of us have. Because I realized me and all my best friends had the same core memory from when we were young of Shania Twain. We heard so much Shania Twain. Everyone knows the words to Shania Twain. She just announced a concert here in Edmonton and Vancouver. So everyone,
love it.
I know, love. And all my girlfriends are talking about like, oh, I used to sing, like make my own Believe Shania Twain concert and force my parents to watch me perform when I was little. And me and all my friends did that. So I think that was a universal thing for like anyone under the age of 35. When we were like 4 to 8, we all had like concerts for our parents singing Shania Twain. And I was like, we all, always. That was... And in the if you were lucky enough to borrow your mom's furry coat, you put that on, you put it on your heels, and like, man, I feel like a woman.
Whose boots have your boots been under?
Whose bed have your boots been
under? Yeah, whose bed? Yeah, there you go. I butchered it.
It's all good.
For sure. My friend, well, she's my internet friend. I've never met her, but we like became friends online and found each other. She's opening for Shania Twain. Her name's Priscilla Block, and I love her.
I just got chills.
I love her album.
Oh my God.
I know. She just posted saying that she's opening. She basically blew up on TikTok, and I found one of her songs through TikTok, and I loved it. So then I followed her. I found it on like Apple Music. She was just kind of getting started, couple 100,000 followers. I go to her Instagram to follow her, and she was already following me. So I messaged her and was like, Priscilla, I found you on TikTok. I freaking love your music. You're so talented. And she's like, oh my gosh, I've been following you forever. I love fitness. And so we just kind of stayed like chatty friends, you know. Yeah. But I thought that was so neat. I was like, wow, this girl got famous off of a platform. And now she's opening up for, I think she recently did a music video with like Chris Stapleton, or there was some famous guy. I don't know. She now just pops off, and I'm like, dude, good for you. And I love her. You guys should check out her album. I'm like such a fan. I've like memorized all the words because she's just so talented.
Good. Like I love hearing things like that. Like that, I can't think of anything bigger like at the start of your career than to open for Shania Twain.
Shania Twain.
Like that is.
I know.
That is like. Honestly, that sums up Nashville. Listening to Shania Twain with your girlfriends. Like, that's half of it.
100%.
Like, she 100%. Is Nashville.
Shania Twain used to do this clickbaity thing, though, that I do beef with, that she used to say, this is my last tour ever. Do you remember this? Every single tour. It out. Like, my mom and I went back when I was in college, because we both love Shania Twain, And like she had said that was her last tour, and look at her now. The woman's clickbait, but I would always go. You should go to her concert if you can, for sure.
She's like Tom Brady, but for music.
Oh, absolutely. She's an icon. But she also like has a crazy backstory, right? Like
Have you seen her doc?
Her dog?
Documentary. Doc.
Oh, I was like, her dog? I started it and I just could not get into the documentary. But I also had watched J-Lo's halftime show, and then it's very anticlimactic compared to the halftime show. But for those that don't know, Shania Twain was with her husband, who I think was her producer. Or like he was very involved in her career. And then he ended up, I think, cheating on her with her best friend. And so they divorced. I think they got married. And her best friend's ex-husband, who like she ended up cheating on, ended up getting with Shania Twain. So they basically swapped partners. And I just think that's crazy. That is like such a weird story. Did she talk about it in the documentary?
I believe so. Honestly, I watched the documentary, and those shows you put on when you're like half falling asleep. So you don't really, like, it was that. And I'm pretty sure she addressed it. Pretty sure. But,
I just want to watch that part.
I was like, I've heard her address it, but I'm like, oh, did I see that in the documentary or just seeing her? You know what I mean? I don't know where I saw it, but she's definitely addressed it, obviously.
Anyways, where were we with? We went out. It was a good time. I will say my pet peeve of the trip when we went out in general was like when you're a bride and you're like wearing the fun veil and the fun outfits with your girls, like people will like think you're a toy. Like they think it's funny to like kind of mess with you, and like I don't know, like there were just some people that were like creepy in the club, or like they think because you're a bride you're like a joke almost, like oh my gosh, like does that make sense? Like there was this one guy that was so creepy, like oh my god, it's a bride, buy a bride a drink, and he's like literally like too close to my space. And I was like, not a good enough excuse for you to like invade in like my personal comfort zone / like he was like touching me, like not in a, like he just was too close to me. Yeah. That I was like, just because I'm a bride, please like do not overstep your boundary like that. Does that make sense? It creeped me out. And I just noticed that the entire trip is you're just like a joke almost, not in a bad way. But it's like they think they can say things to you or act a certain way because of it. And it's like, no, like, please just leave me alone. Leave me with my friends.
I feel the weird thing, and this is someone who's never been a bride, but I'm just assuming from the outsider looking in, is like people almost, normally when you meet people at a bar, you don't know this person's backstory. You know nothing. So there's these odd like buckets. You don't know what bucket to put them in. Like you don't know, like, am I into this person? Am I going to hit on this person? Do I think this person's cute? Do I think they're funny? Do I want my friend to hook up with them? It's kind of like, and so everyone like keeps their distance, especially because like guys are like calculating, like when can I touch her? When can I make a move? Like normal. I'm not talking to creeps. I just mean like general guys are like, ooh, do I put my hand on her? Like they're so calculated. But as soon as you're like the bride, you're like, oh, she knows I'm not hitting on her. Like, oh, this is fun. She's the bride. Let's make this whole, like, you're instantly, like, everyone knows who you are. And so they're, like, already have these presumptions of what a bride is doing on her bachelorette. So it's almost as, like, I think people feel too close to you immediately. Like, even I found that, like, bartending, not to make every story about bartending, but people, like, knew who you were. You were the bartender. So it's this odd, like, instant, people are like, oh, I know where you fit in it. So I think it's, like, oddly people don't, like, yeah, like exactly. I don't want to say like a toy, but it's almost just like people feel they know what you want without even knowing anything about you.
Yeah, for sure. And there was one point, because we were at the bar, and I was with all of you guys, and when he like got in my space, it made me really uncomfortable. And I was like, can you please like back up? And he wouldn't. And it was weird because his friend was on the other side, and he's like, I'm so sorry. He's really drunk right now. And I'm like,
was that the
still not
night?
Okay. No, this was first night.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, and nobody was creepy on the second night. Just that one guy bought us a ton of drinks. He was funny. He was harmless.
I was just thinking that really drunk guy. I was like, was he like that? So I couldn't. I thought
he was
that
also
one guy.
very drunk. But this guy, he was just like I'm not going to go into detail, but I just did not like what he was doing, and I was like, leave me alone. And my friend Kayla, very tall, has been one of my best friends since preschool, and she's pregnant. So she's the sober one. She just announced on her Instagram, so we can finally share that she's pregnant. And I was like, Kayla! And she's like, yes, And I'm like, block him. And she literally like lifts her arm, and she's so tall that she just like slams her arm down and is like, get back. And she literally comes behind me. And she's like, Sav, I've always wished to be a bodyguard. Like, she was so funny. But I just knew she'd have my back. And like, she's also the sober one. So like, she was like, she's like, yeah, that's not okay. Like, he should not. Yeah. Even with the friend being like, sorry, he's drunk. I'm like, still not a good enough reason. Like, no. Just please leave my friends and I alone. That's the thing. I'm like not a bride that wants to chat. I'm like, I want to hang out with my girlfriends because I don't see you guys. You know, like I just want to spend time with you and dance with you guys. And so for me, I think like honestly, my favorite night was Thursday when we were at home catching up. That's just like my personalities. I just like to hang out and like hear about your guys' lives because I just live so far away from everybody.
Yeah. Oh, I love that though. But we definitely did get a bit more of that Saturday. I feel like Friday everyone kind of blew off the steam, and then Saturday was a lot more of like, let's go watch live music. We played Never Have I Ever at the bar where the live music was played.
Yes. I loved that. That was such a blast. And we did a cowboy-esque show. That was hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Where the men like dance on you and also just like dance. It was almost like a skit, which I thought was interesting. I had never been to one, but it was so much fun. I'm like someone that's like, eep, watching them. Like all of us are just like, oh my gosh. Like we were all terrified. Like they purposely avoided our table because we were all just like staring at them with big eyes. Like, dear God.
There's like just different types of girls. Like there's definitely groups of girls who are like, I want this man grinding up on me. And like some like it, or some things play into it because it's fun. And some are just like, you what? Totally. I'll watch from a distance. And it's just always just funny to see how like people react. Like even for myself, I'm like, I won't lie, it is really fun, super entertaining, love watching, but I'm not like, hot damn, man, like how you move those hips. I'm like, this is not really what gets my juices flowing. But totally. It's like,
there was a girl behind us. Oh, the one that like she was living for it. It was her 21st birthday.
Yeah.
And she was like literally the one grinding on them. Like she literally sat one of the dancers down and grinded. Like she could dance, and all of us were like, "Damn!" Like none of us can dance.
I love that. Yes,
Riley can dance.
Definitely can.
Yeah.
But I love seeing that. Also, it's just like I'll just watch. They're enjoying it. I wouldn't enjoy it because I'd be like, "This is not for me." But you know what? It was just so fun to see. I'm like, "Get it, girl, get it." And those parties were the fun ones. So like the groups of girls who were just there and like, I want to see this Magic Mike in a cowboy suit grind up on me.
They're hilarious.
I was here for it.
Absolutely. Me too. That was so fun. We did brunch. We were all hungover though, so
rough.
Was easing into the brunch. I think like we go back, have a nice little catch up nap time, and then went and did live music, which was really fun. And it was just more chill. That's definitely more my vibe. Like some girls are like drink, party, and I'm like, I'm always game to do that to an extent, but I'm happy listening to like some country music and I can hear my friends talk.
Sure.
So that was perfect.
And I'm glad you had that. But speaking of the hangover, so originally I named this podcast Do IVs Cure a Hangover? Because we were supposed to do, and it just literally dawned on me now. I was like, oh, what happened? We're supposed to do an IV? I think it was Saturday morning. What happened there?
Yes.
Did we just cancel
So let me tell you.
Tell us.
We'll bring it back to Wednesday when I go out with Jordan and Keltie, and we're like, let me paint the picture. We're like, let's find a nice, classy brunch spot. It's like 1:30. Jordan's done working. We're done shopping. And we're like, we have all these plans to roam around, do our earrings. And none of us had eaten the entire day. Like, we were just busy running around. So we order food, and I get coffee with my food. And then the girls are like, let's get a drink. I'm like, okay. So we get this drink, and it's called Nashville Margarita. And the girl's like, do you want the frozen one? It's a bit more boozy, like strong. Or do you want us, like the bartender, to make it? And it's just sweeter. And we're like, ooh, I guess boozy because we don't want sweet. So she gives it to us. We only have 2 of these drinks. They messed us up so bad. And it could have been us not eating. And I know like Keltie hadn't been drinking for a while, like over a month. And like maybe her tolerance was really low. But we're all so turnt from this. And I won't get into the details and embarrass Keltie. there was some projectile vomit involved.
There's always one. There's always one.
I'm like FaceTiming Riley. Riley's like, what is going on with you guys? Are you okay? And we're like, we only had 2 drinks. So then we end up like, let's go to live music. So Keltie stopped drinking. Jordan and I got like 2 more vodka sodas. And I think we listened to music for like an hour, hour and a half. I remember we went to another bar and got like food. Like, I just remember Jordan like scooping her hand in queso. Like, we were just drunk, hungry girls and eating like nachos. And like, it was funny because Kelsey's like, I've been gluten-free and I've been vegan the entire time this past month. And she like didn't want to tell us because she didn't want to seem like, oh, you know, I haven't been drinking, I'm gluten-free, vegan. Like, she didn't want to rain on the parade, which I'm like, you would never rain on my parade. I don't care if you drink and I don't care. Like, we can always fit in your dietary needs. So she just didn't tell us, and I think that's how her stomach was reacting. But it's just funny, at the end of the night, that girl was equally dipping her hand in some queso.
Awesome.
But we woke up that Thursday, and we had to go to the Airbnb for them to decorate, get ready, and we were all wildly hungover. And so I was like, I can't do this. And we go to an IV bar. Like, we walk 20 minutes to an IV bar, and we're all, like, so nauseous. We're like, how are we going to do this the rest of the weekend? So we ended up getting IVs, and then we just, no one ever said they wanted it for Thursday, and we were like, well, we already did one, so we just,
perfect.
We just ghosted it. We were like, all right, well, and I wasn't as hungover as I was on Thursday, so it worked out, but I'm sorry, because you definitely missed out on the IV.
Honestly, I didn't even remember until I saw this. I was like, oh yeah, wasn't I supposed to do that? Because in my mind, I think I booked it and being like, oh, let's test that for the podcast. Honestly, I just did my classic hangover cure. Eggs and bread, a lot of electrolytes. I was good to go. I was good to rally. That's all I needed. But here's the question. Did it help the hangover?
Oh my God, it did. It did.
Oh, wow.
Immensely. Like, I was so nauseous and dizzy and just like, I just felt horrible. And of course, like, an IV is not going to completely cure your hangover. Like, an IV helps with dehydration because you've destroyed your body. And also, usually if you get a hangover IV, they have like electrolytes, which can help. They have vitamins. Sometimes they give you anti-nausea medicine. So that really helped, and it kicks in within like maybe an hour. And like, you have a lot of B12. So like, I was honestly really nauseous when I was getting my IV, and I told him, and he's like, it's probably because you haven't eaten anything, and it's vitamins, right? Like, do you ever take vitamins on an empty stomach and it kind of hurts your tummy? Yeah. So then I had like a protein bar. But it can definitely help with nausea, headache, fogginess, things like that. So it didn't cure it all the way, because I think we lacked sleep in general, and just we had destroyed our body, poisoned it with alcohol. But we felt great. Like, the girls were decorating the Airbnb, and like I went with Pernille, came early, my friend, and we like went and got coffee, and I felt fantastic. Where I think if I didn't have that IV, it would have just like dragged on that entire weekend.
Okay, that's fascinating. Because I've always wondered, because I'm the exact same way, that if I have vitamins on an empty stomach, it makes me super nauseous. And usually when I wake up hungover and I'm nauseous, it's because I haven't eaten. So I was like, would that help it? Like, I feel the only thing to solve that, but then also sometimes I just need electrolytes. So it makes sense, the electrolytes, but I was curious the nauseous part. But I guess it makes sense. It only cures it a little, and then you still just need to eat food.
No, for sure. I mean, the anti-nausea medication was so helpful. I don't know if an IV with just electrolytes and things like that would have helped. I don't know. I haven't done like an insane amount of research on it, but I figured I'd try it. I'd never done an IV for my hangover before, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend. If you are really struggling, try it out. Have you ever done an IV? Like just
in hospital,
a miscellaneous
setting,
a miscellaneous IV.
I'm trying to think. Only ones I've ever had is like with blood taken and surgery and that. I've never just been like, you want hook me up? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I've always wanted to. At the Whitney event, there was the option, but I was like, I don't feel like sitting still and doing it, so I didn't do it.
Yeah.
But
there's Michael and I have been doing IVs for, oh my gosh, like years. Like, since we lived in Orange County. Only when we were sick, though. You know, like, when you're sick, an IV it really does help you recover, because you are just like naturally dehydrated. And They can also give you decongestant medicine, things like that. But I just never tried it for a hangover. But I know it's a very controversial topic. That's why some doctors like don't agree with it. Some nurses are like, I don't actually think it helps. And then there's some that swear by it. So it's, you know, we're not professionals. I couldn't tell you. But for me personally, I've always loved it. And like, especially I stay sick for a month if I don't treat it properly. And so if I'm really sick, I'll get an IV. And it'll help it so much. Just help me recover faster. It's like a little extra push for my body. But I know some people, like Jordan said she didn't really notice the hangover IV, but Keltie and I did. So I think it's just personal preference.
Yeah. And then remember, we're not medical professionals. This is just an option that we tested. Well, Sav tested. And then there's our thoughts. And on that, I thought, what was your highlight and what was the worst part and the best part about your bachelorette party? Because for me, I think anytime there's a big event like this, there's so much planning, like so much hype. Like you want to enjoy the moment, but like it's this weird nothing I think will match your expectations, but also like so they're like, or there's just so much emotion building up to it. Like it was there's something that you were disappointed in, and what was the best part, the highlight?
Highlight was I felt so loved the entire time.
Yay.
I've never had someone plan such an intricate like party with my friends that like reflects everything that I like, you know? Like
That's so
the
nice.
fun, goofy Taylor Swift. Like not all my friends like that, and I like that you guys came together and embraced it and like did that, you know? That made me so happy. And I don't know. I just was very thankful for all of you guys that wanted to come out, you know, because it is far, it's expensive. And I was just blown away that Jordan and Keltie had planned it so well, because I was like, I don't know how to plan a bachelorette party. I have no idea. Like, I've been to some that are really fun, but I've never been to one that, like, was so tailored to the bride. So that, like, there's tattoos of Michael's faces. And, like, I just thought there's so much detail that went into it that I felt very special and heard. And then maybe the thorn would be I'll touch on it briefly. I got overstimulated one night, and I was like, I need to go home. And I think the only thing I wish about this bachelorette party is it wasn't in the middle of a move of me dealing with a hurricane and like the house getting delayed of that. Like the lender and the bank. And like, I just had traveled for a month straight. And I literally went from I went New York, Puerto Rico, to Arizona because we didn't have a home to live in because of the hurricane. So we stayed with my dad, to Cabo for Michael's work trip. That's a lot of drinking. That's a lot of, you know, we were planning a wedding as well, which is like stressful because it's expensive and you're trying to figure out the logistics, to Nashville. And I think like things happened that I just like got so overwhelmed. We're drinking, like, and it just hit me. And I'm like someone that doesn't like to show emotion ever, so the fact that I didn't like that. So that was my thorn, is myself getting overstimulated.
That is fair. Honestly, the fact you only had like one little blubber, at least for me, when I'm like in one of those stages, like you're moving, you're traveling, your mind is in like 100 ways. I just like one little thing, just one thing is just the tipping point to the dominoes, and I'm crying for 3 days straight. I'll cry about anything, and then suddenly I'll be like, my friend's so dry. And you know what I mean? It's just, so the fact you only had one little thing, props. That, you know what, everyone gets a little bit at your bachelorette party. So the fact you just had like one little thing with all that going on.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking like the past bachelorette parties, there's always been somebody that's cried that I've been with. So like, yeah, I just think it just like came crashing down on me, and I kind of wish that didn't happen that way, but it did. And
that's life.
That's me being honest about it. But yeah, but I mean, it wasn't anything anyone did. Like it was just, I think
nothing.
It was like a miscommunication, and all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm overstimulated. I need to go home. Like, this is too much for me. I've been drinking for like a month straight. So needless to say, your girl has taken a break.
I love it. And
what
honestly,
was your... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to
be
like...
What was your rose and thorn?
Yeah, I was just going to say, isn't there many of songs written about people crying on their birthday? Like, it's just a normal thing. And then my favorite and my thorn... My favorite part was, I think, the honky tonk bus. Like, that was a blast. Just like blaring music, going downtown, having a beer, just enjoying the like good music. And it was really fun. Like you're kind of driving in the city like during the daytime, but it's still packed, and like people hear your music from the bus and get involved. So I personally loved that part. And my least favorite was I originally had booked a 1 p.m. flight on the Sunday. And it was like an extra like $100. There's a 6 a.m. one and a 1 p.m. I was like, and I wasn't going to do it. But I was like, you know what? $100. I can actually enjoy Saturday night. I have to go to sleep, then go. I'm like, $100 maybe is worth it because I have to go straight to work on Monday, and I've traveled so much. And I'm like, $100 for my like mental health. Okay, it's cheaper than therapy. Let's do it. And then a week before, Air Canada changed my flight to 6 a.m. So I paid more, still had the same 6 a.m. flight. So I think I had to get up at like 3 a.m. and like 2 hours of sleep. I'm pretty sure I like ghosted that night. Like I just like, we all got home. I just like marched straight to my bed because I was like, I have no time. It's like, bye. And just, whew, it was just like, I could hear the murmuring upstairs. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not being antisocial. I'm just sleep.
And dude, we ordered Taco Bell.
Or I came up for Taco Bell though.
Oh, wait, yes, because I remember looking over and you were so sad at your burrito.
It was, okay, my burrito, and I love Taco Bell, and I love burritos, and I just needed something in my stomach because I hadn't eaten much then. I was like, and so I ate the taco, and also I'm kind of get sewered in eating tacos because I can't eat avocado, and I don't like orange cheese, so like cheddar cheese, I'm not for.
Warm cheese or orange cheese?
Yes, orange. So I like any like white cheese, like a feta. I've just realized it's like orange cheeses, so I'm like, you know, just no cheese on it. I know it's a very specific, but like burrata, cream cheese, all that love. Just like a cheddar cheese. I'm like, So anyways, I don't get cheese, don't get avocado. So I'm already like pretty plain. And they must have, and it was late night, just put the sauce on one end. And it already wasn't that much sauce. And it was like a crunchy one. So it had like the tortilla chips rolled in. And they must have wrapped it. So like one side was the chicken, the chips, the hot sauce, the sauce, and the lettuce. And the other half was literally just chips. So I was eating a tortilla with chips, no sauce at the end. I was like, it was like the most not pleasant thing, but I was so hungry. I was like, okay, I'm just going to eat it. Do you know what I mean? But just imagine eating a tortilla with like a little bit of salty crunch. I'm like, there wasn't, I would have done had just like a little mayo or something. So that was not the best taco. But you know, when you're so hungry, you're like, I just need something in me. I was at that stage, so I ate tortilla and chips.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was, the Taco Bell experience was a 0 out of 10. It was like, we all ordered Crunch Wraps, and Pernille, who's from Denmark, has never had Taco Bell. Riley, who is American, I don't know how she's never had Taco Bell. And yeah, and I was so excited for them to have their first Crunch Wrap Supreme. There was no crunch. It was just a floppy tortilla with some beans. And we were like, what happened, Taco Bell? But so, I still will eat it. I'm like, especially after you've been drinking a bit, playing Never Have I Ever.
Yeah. And also I lost at Never Have I Ever, so that was another thorn.
Oh yeah, you did, but you did pound your beer. You also ran every day in the morning after that one night that you were extremely hungover. I'm very impressed.
It was a slow run. I stopped many of times, but the streak was not broken. And to moments like that, I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this streak to be done. But I got to make it a year. And then I'll reestablish. But getting up those half an hour. How many more days do you have left? 34. So I'm like, I'm so close.
You're so close.
I'm like a month away. So I'm like, no excuses now. It's like no one wants to see. I ran every day for 328 days. People are like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But
it was funny because that morning that you got up every morning and ran and got your coffee. I've noticed that's your thing that you like to do. Yeah. Like even in New York when you came to visit me, and I was like, oh, don't you want me to join? And you're like, no, I'm going to go run and I'm going to get coffee. And I'm like, okay, Keltie, alone time for you. Yeah. But it was funny because everyone came upstairs, and like after that first night, we were all very hungover from the club. Like I'm literally icing my face with Keltie. Like Keltie and I have this toxic thing about each other that if one person wakes up, like Keltie is Michael's sister, and she's literally my best friend. And so like we are the same person to where it's like concerning that Michael is marrying me because we're so alike. And so when she wakes up early and so do I, so like whoever beats the other one to waking up, we don't want to miss out on hanging out, so then we have to get up. It's like just a toxic thing we have with each other. So we'd wake up at like the crack of dawn because it was so light in those rooms.
Oh, yeah.
And we like could not fall back asleep. And I'd be like, Keltie, if you're going to get up, I have to get up with you. Like, so we got up at like 6 a.m. after being out so late. And then we were icing our face. Megan texts me. She's downstairs. She's like, are you awake? She comes up and she's like, I went and got ice. We're all icing our faces.
Yeah.
You come in from the run. Megan's like, oh, I think Keltie is gone. She went for a run. And they were like, Keltie ghosted last night. Like, she just went straight to her bed and didn't say anything. And when you got back, I was like, why did you do that? And you're like, I was drunk. I went to bed. And I'm like,
literally.
Okay, yes. You knew what to do.
I was like, it was one of those moments, like, everyone had come home, and mine was at the bottom, so everyone had to go upstairs, and I was like, I can go up these stairs, then I get caught in a conversation, and then I'm up 2 more hours. I was like, or I just hope no one notices that I beelined it to my bed and passed out. That's what I just did. And I was like, and then I was able to get like 5 hours of sleep and get up for my run. And that's self-care is sometimes boundaries. And my boundary was no chit-chat after the bar. I was like, just bed.
Absolutely. I like it. I was like, wow, she's so smart. And that's where, like, no wonder she got up for a run.
Yeah. It was a slow run. Anyone who's like, wow, you got up after, like, don't be that girl. Like, you know what I mean? Everyone feel guilty. It is the slowest run. And like I said, that's why I go to get a coffee, because I'm like, there's motivation.
Yes.
When I'm hungover, it's been late night, I'm like, I can run and get coffee, and then I'll walk back. And that's the only way I can get myself to do it. A little reward.
Totally. And we all respected it, you know? Like,
Thank you.
I think Megan was just jealous because Megan and Maddie are big. They love to exercise as well. And she was like, dang, that's a good idea. But I think Megan was too hungover. She was like, nope.
See, that's what I hate about Run Streak is, like, I don't want anyone to feel guilty that they're not working out on a girl's trip. Like, you shouldn't have to. You know what I mean? Had I not had this run streak, there's no way. And then I would have just waited. So that's why I was like, I almost feel guilty because I don't want anyone to sit there and be like, oh, look, why didn't I bring my running shoes? I'm like, it's because I'm on this psychotic streak that I'm almost done. Otherwise, I'm like, just enjoy. Like, 2 days off from the gym doesn't matter. Like, it's not good for fitness. It's just like a weird video. But enough of the run streak. I'm glad you had a great bachelorette party.
Yes, it was fantastic. It was cool because all of my friends that like came together is like, if you think about it, I have my 3 best friends, Megan, Maddie, and Kayla. They've been my best friends since high school. So we know each other inside and out, right? And we've like grown up together. And then I have my friends Riley and Pernell, who I've known, like, they lived in Miami with me. I met Pernell in Miami. She was a follower and just messaged me, hey, I live in your building. That's how we became friends. Then I have you and Ashley, who are like my internet buddies. Like, I met you virtually, essentially. I love that. Like, we all have the same type of career. And Millie. But Millie I met before she even started social media. Like, Huntington friend. And they have Jordan from college. And then Michael's sister, who, like, I just loved how everyone came from different parts of my life. And they all got along. And now, at the wedding, you guys get to all hang out because you all know each other. That's the best part. Like, I love bachelorette parties for that because then you make new friends. And, like, it's so much fun at the wedding because you have these newfound friends that you'd never met before.
Yeah, I loved it. And, like, exactly, when you first go into it, it's, like, a little nerve-wracking. Like, will we get along? Right? They just have to go with the open book and, like, go along with everyone. So it's nice because after I was, like, a little sad. I was like, oh, I won't see you girls again, potentially. I was like, no, I'll see you all at the wedding. So it's really nice.
So thank you for going.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. And we're a couple months out from the wedding, and we'll keep you guys updated and posted, and then we should wrap it up here. But I thought I'd give you guys a little preview. We talked about Taylor Swift. We're talking Taylor Swift and some other exciting things and drama involved in next week's episode. So if you're new here, I was going to say hit like, but it's not really YouTube. I was like, hit 5-star review, and then feel free to slide into our DMs at Hitting the Bars on Instagram and submit a confession session, which we'll have in next week's episode.
I love it. Well, thank you, ladies and Keltie, for listening to me gab about my bachelorette party. Let me know if you liked this. If not, we can include less of our personal life. But I had a good time recapping it, and I haven't even talked to you since. So it was nice to even unfold it all together.
Perfect. I loved it. And I love you. Yep. And I love you.
Love you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.